BamaCentral.com, I'm Joey Blackwell here with Katie Wyndham and Tony Tsoukalas, and this is 3 and Out. We are now just one day away from the 2022 NBA draft. Alabama basketball has seen some success in the NBA draft over the past few seasons, dating back to obviously Colin Sexton and 2018 lottery pick. They took 2019 off, but then they had lottery picks back-to-back years in 2020 and 2021 as well. This year looks to be a little bit different, though, with J.D. Davison, Keon Ellis, and Jaden Shackelford all on the docket to potentially be drafted tonight. It's looking like Jaden Shackelford might not be, but there still is hope for J.D. Davison and Keon Ellis. That being said, the question for today is, what will a successful Alabama draft look like? Let's start with you, Katie. What do you think this Crimson Tide team needs to do to have a successful draft tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy just to put in perspective of where Alabama basketball was at before Avery Johnson was able to bring in the talent he did. And then Nate Oates has brought in more and developed it some. The Alabama's had, like you said, lottery picks in 3 of the last 4 drafts, because Richard Hendricks was drafted in 2008. And then up until Colin Sexton was drafted in 2018, no one else was drafted from Alabama. So the fact that there could even be 2 people drafted in back-to-back drafts would be huge for this program, just looking at where it had been. So I think a successful night for Alabama on Thursday night will be JD and Keon getting drafted. I think ultimately when you kind of look at where both of them were at one point, especially JD coming into the season, he had really high expectations put on him, maybe a little too high. He could potentially be a lottery pick. That is extremely unlikely at this point, not going to happen. So I think at this point, if JD and Keon are both drafted, then that'll be a big success for Alabama, and maybe not as high as Nate Oates had hoped at one point, but it's still something he can continue to build on, the program can continue to build on, and that they're producing NBA talent.
Yeah, I agree, Katie. I think when you look at maybe, if you went to the beginning of the season, this would be a disappointment, because I think, at one point, Keon Ellis was a first-round pick projection early in the season, and obviously J.D. Davison was a lottery projection. And now, with Keon Ellis maybe not even getting picked, and and J.D. kind of like moving out of the first round, pretty much guaranteed, it is a little disappointing. But when you look at it from a kind of a step back, having 3 straight years with a player getting drafted, I think that is really important to the program and showing the potential. For me, when I'm looking at what's a positive night, we probably won't know it at the end of the night if it's a positive night. I think you need J.D. Davison to go to a team that he could really grow with, a team that's going to, maybe develop his game, because I think having a guy like that, he's talented enough, he's athletic enough to excel in the NBA, and having a guy like that develop and kind of make it, I think will be ultimately good for the program. I think Herb Jones developing the way he did last year for the Pelicans, I think that is bigger than the lottery pick with Joshua Primo so far, So if JD Davison can go to a team like that where he can really elevate his game, I think that's going to be a real selling point for Nate Oates and company. And so I really think it's all about finding the right fit for who I think could be the big game changer in JD Davison.
Building off of what Katie said, talking about Alabama, Nate Oates turning this program around with draft picks, since 2018, there are only 2 teams that have had more lottery picks than Alabama, and that's Duke and Kentucky. So talk about a program that's on the rise. Having 2 more picks this year could really solidify Alabama as a solid program in terms of when recruits are looking at a place to go to head to the NBA. So obviously we'd like to see that, and hopefully they'll be able to bring in some more recruits with that and hang their hats on that. For BamaCentral.com, I'm Joey Blackwell with Katie Wyndham and Tony Tsoukalas. This has been 3 and Out. Thank you so much for watching.